Last spring, I almost signed up for a fitness app because of a $1 trial. $1. That's it. I already had my card number typed in. My thumb was literally hovering over the button. And then, for no real reason, I closed the tab. I think about that a lot now. Because a few weeks ago, the FTC, the U.S. government's Consumer Protection Agency, filed an actual federal lawsuit that reads like exactly what would have happened to me if I hadn't closed that tab. So let's talk about how this actually works. Not in theory, with the real case that's happening right now. Here's the setup. You're scrolling Instagram or TikTok late at night, and you see an ad. Ripped trainer, clean graphics, $1 trial custom workout plan, AI meal plan, real coaching. It looks legit. It looks cheap. You click through a 30-second quiz about your body and your goals, and suddenly you're at checkout. There's a big, bright button. Start my trial. Your eyes go straight to it, and that's not an accident. Companies run months of A/B tests on button color, size, and placement just to make sure your thumb lands exactly there. There's actual psychology behind it. It's called the von Riestorff effect, basically. The one thing that visually stands out is the thing your brain trusts and clicks. Right under that button, though, is the part they don't want you to read. Tiny gray text on a slightly lighter gray background, low contrast, on purpose, especially rough on a phone screen outdoors. That text is the actual contract. Click the button, and you're enrolled in an auto-renewing subscription that bills you $40, $60, sometimes more, the second your trial ends. No reminder email, no push notification, just a charge out of nowhere on a day you weren't expecting it. And that first charge is often just the opener. Once you're signed up, the app starts offering you extras: a custom meal plan, a recipe book, priority coaching. They're framed as cheap, one-time add-ons, but a lot of users report they're actually separate recurring subscriptions of their own. So instead of one $60 charge a month, you end up with 3 or 4 smaller charges from the same company, each one small enough on its own that it's easy to miss on a statement. So you go looking for the cancel button. There isn't one, not inside the app. Anyway, a lot of these companies deliberately route you to an external website instead of the App Store or Google Play, because those platforms actually require a one-tap cancel option built in. This business model doesn't want that option to exist. So now you're digging through your texts trying to remember a link from a month-old Instagram ad, then a password you don't remember either. Say you make it that far, you still don't get a cancel button. You get a guilt trip screen first. Here's the progress you're about to lose. Then a surprise discount offer. Then a pause option instead of cancel, which quietly keeps the meter running. Some of these flows make you type out a written explanation or email a support address that says it takes 3 to 5 business days to respond, plenty of time for your next billing cycle to hit before anyone replies. People in the industry actually have a name for this: the Roach Motel. Easy to check in, brutal to check out. The whole concept of a dark pattern comes from a UX researcher named Harry Brignall, and it's the exact same playbook the FTC used when it sued Amazon over Prime cancellations a couple years back. For years, all of this was mostly angry App Store reviews and Reddit threads. That changed in June 2026. The FTC filed a federal complaint against a company called Genesis Tech, a major Ukraine-based app publisher. The case names 15 corporations and 8 individuals, including Genesis Tech's founder CEOs. Here's the part a lot of people are getting slightly wrong, so let's be precise about it. That number floating around, almost $250 million, isn't what Mad Muscles made on its own. It's what the entire Genesis Tech network made, combined, across at least 8 different subscription products from early 2023 to mid-2025. That portfolio includes Mad Muscles plus 2 other fitness apps, an AHD self-help course, a couple of PDF editing tools, a fashion styling app, and a horoscope and psychic chat service. 8 completely different products. One company running the same playbook behind all of them. Mad Muscles is specifically named in the complaint as one of the fitness products involved, so it's not just guilt by association, it's one of the named apps. But that $250 million belongs to the whole network, not to one app. And getting that number right actually matters here. What does the FTC actually allege? that Genesis Tech violated the FTC Act and a law called ROSCA, the Restore Online Shoppers Confidence Act, specifically not clearly disclosing what people were signing up for, charging people without real authorization, and not providing a simple way to cancel. A federal judge already granted a temporary order halting the operation while the case plays out. I want to be clear, none of this has gone to trial yet. These are allegations. But this isn't just internet complaints anymore. It's the US government in federal court making almost the exact argument this video is making. And the case isn't small. We're talking about a network with products downloaded hundreds of millions of times worldwide, routed through a maze of shell companies in places like Cyprus and Delaware, the kind of structure that makes it harder for regulators and for regular customers to even figure out who they're actually paying every month. So, why does a business build itself around making people this angry? Because the math works out in their favor. There's a metric companies obsess over called customer lifetime value. Normally, you grow it by making something people actually want to keep using. This model does it a different way. It just makes leaving exhausting enough that a chunk of people give up and eat the charge instead. It leans hard on something researchers call subscription fatigue. Most of us already have 5 or 6 recurring charges hitting our accounts every month: streaming, cloud storage, a gym, a meal kit. When one more vague, unfamiliar charge shows up, a lot of people just don't investigate. They assume it's something they forgot about, and they let it slide. With fitness apps specifically, there's an extra layer to it. Signing up is basically a promise to yourself, I'm going to get healthier this time. When that doesn't happen, a lot of people feel a little embarrassed about it, and the charge becomes something they'd rather ignore than confront. That's not a coincidence. That's the design working exactly as intended. And when people do finally call to complain, they're usually met with a script of their own. A rep will point to the terms you technically agreed to, offer you a free month or a 50% discount, and do everything except actually give you your money back because the company knows most people won't take the time to fight over $60. Multiply that by a few million subscribers, and most people won't bother turns into a business model on its own. Okay, if something like this has already happened to you, here's what actually works. First, the chargeback. You don't need the company's permission to get your money back. Call your bank or card issuer directly. Don't just say, I forgot to cancel, because that goes nowhere. Say the company used deceptive billing practices and didn't provide a clear way to cancel. That's the language that gets banks to act. Card networks like Visa and MasterCard genuinely punish merchants with high chargeback rates, fines, frozen accounts, sometimes losing the ability to process cards at all. Second, know that the law is actually on your side here. ROSCA requires companies to clearly disclose the real terms of a subscription before they take your card details, and to give you a simple way to cancel. If you're in California, the state's automatic renewal law goes even further. Cancellation has to be possible online, no phone call or email required, and the renewal terms have to be shown clearly, not buried in gray on gray text. There was actually a bigger federal rule in the works that would have made this the standard everywhere in the US, but a court struck it down on a technicality in 2025, and regulators are still trying to rebuild it. Until that happens, ROSCA and your state's own law are what you've actually got, and there's still enough to build a case on. Which is exactly what's happening to Genesis Tech right now. You can also file a complaint directly with the FTC. It takes about 5 minutes on their website. It probably won't get your specific $20 back by tomorrow, but complaints exactly like yours are what built the case against Genesis Tech in the first place. Third, and honestly, this is the one that stops the problem before it starts. Stop handing these companies your real card number. Use a virtual card instead. Services like Privacy let you generate a one-time card number with a hard spending cap. Set the cap at exactly $1 for that trial, and when the company quietly tries to run a $60 charge later, it just declines. They get nothing, and you get to walk away without ever having to find that hidden cancel button. A few quick signs to watch for next time an ad like this shows up in your feed. If the price is oddly specific and tiny $1 or 99 cents, that's usually a signal the real business is what happens after the trial, not the trial itself. If you have to hunt for the subscription terms instead of seeing them right next to the price, that's a red flag. And if the checkout happens in your mobile browser instead of through the App Store or Google Play, canceling is almost always going to be harder, not easier. None of that means every dollar trial app is running a scheme. It just means read the fine print before you click, not after the charge shows up. Here's the thing worth remembering. The dream Mad Muscles and companies like it are selling isn't fake. Wanting to get in shape is a real, reasonable goal, and plenty of people genuinely want the help. The problem was never the goal. It's that somewhere along the way, a handful of companies figured out it's more profitable to make you feel guilty than to actually make you fit. Go check your bank statement tonight. Actually look at every recurring charge on there, not just skim it. If you find one of these, you already know exactly what to do now. Call your bank, use the right words, and don't let embarrassment be the reason you let it slide for another month. And if you've ever gotten caught in something like this, tell me in the comments. I want to hear how bad your cancellation flow actually was. Because after researching this one, I have a feeling some of your stories are worse than mine.